And with sexuality, I welcome my wild side. How does it feel? Or what can it be? With sexuality, I open to the sexual monster or wild side, sexual animal. How do you feel about that?
We are old people.
So the wild beast is over. You never know. Opening to the tree of life, you never know.
That's actually a small fear in the body. Yeah, that's a small, not like gripping fear, but like small sense.
I release my wild beast. How does it feel?
Release as in here I am. Or
Yeah,
I let it go.
I let it be.
Okay.
I open to that wild beast inside.
That's a relief.
Yeah? Ah, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
This has been an issue for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because opening to the humanity within you, we open to that. And that has a room also. Beyond, you know, in the temple in India, they were quite erotic, the statue and everything. So that's completely that openness to life and to erotism and all aspects of sexuality. But with Christianity, with morality, we created good and bad, and then there's been taboo. And the taboo is the problem. Not the taboo is creating all the perversion. But erotism and many aspects of sexuality is completely fine. And the more we have that openness, the more it becomes healthy. You know, it becomes natural and free and whatever it wants to be. But there is no longer that taboo. And it's a taboo that creates all perversion. So let's go back to a natural sexuality, very alive, very whatever. But that's part of our aliveness. That's part of our aliveness.
I feel it for me in my life. It's about let go of this beautiful side of life. Actually, I feel it's the core of life. The sexuality, together with love, makes the most beautiful experiencing this. I can imagine.
Somebody said that if erotism disappears by age, it's not because of the age. Altså hvis erotikken forsvinder med alderen, så er det ikke alderens skyld.
Hvad er skylden?
Ja, altså så er det din egen skyld, så at sige. Du er ikke åben over for det.
Ja.
I actually had a very beautiful experience in India according to sexuality, which set me very free. Because I could see that on the path I have begun to identify the pure woman who was in celibate, and it was very much like, and staying in ashrams where you cannot, it feels very bad to have like
sexual ideas.
Yes. And I was very proud that I could stay, you know, as a celibate. Until and that was actually so beautiful because I was staying in this ashram, and of course you don't do things like that, and you were meditating, and it was very serious. And then there came a man from Romania, and there was a contact in somehow. And it was not that I really wanted, it was just happening. And after that, I was so ashamed because my image of myself as this very pure celibate was completely destroyed. Completely. And I had enjoyed it so much as well. I really let it. And the most embarrassing thing was that we were all, before the meditation, we had to go up on the roof to meet each other and walk. And then at that time, my guru, he looked at me and I could see in his look that he knew. I could see it. But then it was so horrible that I had to let go of the image of me being this celibate and pure and all of that. And then I saw it. It was really like I saw, wow, our body have some desires. And sometimes it's just move in a way, and you can actually just watch this movement. So it does something, and it comes in to interact with some being, and it just happens, and then it moves away. So I saw it's not me. It was actually just it was not, but anyhow, yeah, it was not. It's just very natural movement, and it's okay.
Yeah.
So it was actually quite relieving. Also, it was like, okay, yeah.
What is purity? What is true purity? We have to come back to that also.
Yes.
Because not moralistic purity, not idealistic purity, but true purity. What is it?
For me, it's not resting in the heart.
Yeah.
Yes.
And resting in the heart has no judgment.
Yes.
From good, about good and bad. It is beyond judgment. So true purity gives rooms to all aspects.
And it's just like life is flowing, and it's just you don't control the flow. So it's really like, so how come you take the responsibility of something happening also? Just let it, it's okay. Just
and
flow.
it's a beautiful experience you had, because if you want to define yourself as pure, you're again closing the wall here of all these sexual beasts that can manifest in your life. You're closing that wall, and that's where there is a fall of mystics. They define themselves as pure, free from sexuality. It is a lie. No one is free from sexuality. You can be totally at peace with sexuality, but your sexuality will be natural. But naturally, if you're open to life, if you're open to your ego, there will be desires, natural attraction, and that's a lie to close that door. And it's part of life. You have no animals that prevent themselves from having sex. It's part completely of the nature.
You see it actually in Ramana Maharshi's ashram. It was so funny. I was in Tiruvannamalai, and here people are very holy, very holy. And then there was the monkeys. It was so funny to watch, because it was so quiet and people was very much meditating and reading, and then the monkey was just in the middle and just and people were really like and they were really getting up. It was such a contrast, and it was so beautiful. I laughed. It was so good.
And together it was whole.
We really have to free spirituality from that fake image of purity.
Yes.
It is one beautiful part, but as part of life, you cannot deny desires, you cannot deny erotism, you cannot deny sexuality, wild even sexuality. There is no issue with anything, as long as you know the boundary, the natural boundary of the heart.
Can I say something? Because I experienced something that I don't know if it's common, but since I became alone and I didn't have a steady sexual partner anymore, the men I got attracted to at the moment, I could get a kundalini without even being physically. I could be physically as well, I don't mind, but if it's circumstances against it, I could
have pleasure with that
I
physical
could have pleasure just being close to the one I love or am attracted to. Gives me a kick.
It's easy.
Easy, not complicated.
So there are different expressions of sexuality. But again, it's by defining what is good or bad that prevents the full range of expressions according to where we are. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's if suddenly we define that as only pure and spiritual, we are again defining what is pure, what is impure. And again we are into duality. From the heart place, all aspects of sexuality, all aspects, whether high or low, whether very beast-like or whether very elevated states of heart into sexuality, doesn't matter. So again, it's that place of full openness where all aspects of humanity and their different expressions have a room. It's not about judging what is correct or not correct, what is high or low, it's a different expression, a different jewel here, a different flower, a different scent.
Yes, I'm not judging.
No, not you, but that's what I mean by with sexuality and spirituality. Yes. And I thought
It's
after
funny,
6
I
years
can
of
feel
having no sex myself, after separating, 6 years of having no sex, wow, I'm totally free from sexuality, no desire, no fantasy, nothing. And then when sex comes again, wow! Wow, I was not free from sexuality. But you can be both also. Huh? It depends on circumstances. Nothing right, nothing wrong. It's not. It's just if the manifestation is not there, the event is not there to make your sexuality alive again, it is dormant. It doesn't mean you're free. It is dormant. But when something happens, it is back to activation, like being active. But you can be free from it and or into it. It doesn't matter.
It reminds me, when we talk about sexuality, it actually reminds me of the two other stories I already told. Also, like having a fear, a much larger fear, and I guess it's still in the system somehow. Like in me, it manifested as a fear of being homosexual.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized at some point, it was like, you can say an opening or whatever, like a aha moment, that it was just a fear of my own sexuality, how much broader it was than I actually had thought it was. I would define myself as, heterosexual, and that's it. And I probably am, but it's not the point. I had narrowed my sexuality in a way, and I just saw that created fears in me to be different or wilder or whatever. So I would come into these situations with good friends or something, and at some point there was being a fear in me, am I homosexual? And then at some point I was just going into this, and then I just saw, okay, because then I said, okay, I accept it, and nothing happened, there was nothing happened, and I just have to accept my sexuality. And it was like, bing, in a way, flow again, in a way.
There is an homosexual in all of us. There is as seeds, and whether they become active or not is also a question how much resistance we have or how much identification or fears we have about them. Because also often, I'm not saying in all the cases, but there's a fear of homosexuality that creates the doubt. It is the fear of homosexuality that creates a doubt and maybe the expression of it. It's a long line of taboo that creates, but maybe I am, and that identification is coming from a fear. And when the fear disappears, you realize, wow, actually I'm more attracted to the opposite sex. And sometimes there is a mix a little bit inside between the female energy and it is very true that sometimes in a female body there is a strong male energy. And that is being a male, even with a physical appearance. And that also has to be respected. But the more we come to understanding this polarity and these things, they merge. They merge and they reconcile. And it doesn't prevent the natural movement towards whatever sex. And we have to listen to there is no taboo also about that. We have also to respect the truth of what is here and now. And the truth of what is here now can change also. And there is nothing wrong with anything.